You think you know Bill Gates? Think again. His second daughter, Phoebe Adele Gates, just shattered the polished image of her billionaire father with a revelation no one saw coming. For years, the world has painted Gates as the tech genius, the philanthropist, the man reshaping the future. But behind closed doors, Phoebe is now stepping into the spotlight with a truth that could rewrite everything we thought we knew. Buckle up. This isn't just another billionaire family drama. This is a game changer. The Gates family shockwave. You thought Bill Gates' legacy was all about revolutionizing technology and giving away billions to charity? Well, think again. Beneath the polished public image lies a family dynamic more complex and shocking than anyone imagined. And now, his youngest daughter, Phoebe Adele Gates, is stepping forward with a revelation that might just change everything. Let's start with the next generation of Gates. Bill and Melinda French Gates, who were married for 27 years before their high-profile divorce in 2021, share 3 children, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe. Their eldest, Jennifer, 28, has already given them official grandparent status, welcoming her first child, Layla, in February 2023, followed by baby Mia in October 2024. And while most billionaires might be preparing to shower their grandkids with luxury and privilege, Bill, he's got a different idea. In a rare interview, the tech mogul shared that he plans to create an adventure for his grandchildren, a cryptic statement that left many wondering just how unconventional his role as a grandparent will be. But here's where things get really interesting: the inheritance bombshell. Bill Gates, ranked 7th richest in the world by Forbes in 2024, has made it painfully clear that his children won't be inheriting his vast fortune. According to him, passing down billions would be a mistake, and instead nearly everything is going to charity, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. While some have praised his decision as noble, others see it as controversial, especially when it comes to his own children's future. Take a moment to unwind, grab your favorite tea or coffee, and enjoy this video with us. Jennifer Gates. Born into unimaginable wealth but choosing the grind of medical school over a cushy billionaire lifestyle? That's Jennifer Catherine Gates for you. The eldest daughter of Bill and Melinda Gates, born on April 26, 1996, could have easily lived a life of luxury without lifting a finger, but instead, she spent years buried in textbooks, trading private jets for hospital shifts. And now, she's officially a doctor in training, fresh out of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, heading straight into her pediatric residency at the same prestigious institution. Bill Gates himself couldn't hide his pride, taking to Instagram to shower his daughter with praise. Your patients will be lucky to call you doctor. But Jennifer is more than just a future physician. She's also a professional show jumper, proving that she can command a horse just as well as she can command a hospital ward. She's been competing for years, balancing rigorous training with her medical aspirations. And when it comes to love, she found it in Nail Nassar, a fellow equestrian who proposed during a ski trip in 2020. Their fairy tale wedding took place in October 2021, with Jennifer stunning in a custom Vera Wang gown. But the biggest plot twist? Her parents, fresh off their multi-billion-dollar divorce, put their differences aside to walk her down the aisle. Fast forward to today, and Jennifer's life has taken another monumental turn: motherhood. She welcomed her first child, Layla, in March 2023, and just a year later, in October 2024, she gave birth to her second daughter, Mia. From billionaire heiress to doctor, athlete, and devoted mom, Jennifer Gates is proving she's not just another wealthy kid riding on a famous last name. She's making her own legacy. Rory Gates. Born into one of the wealthiest families on earth, Rory John Gates could have coasted through life without ever cracking open a book. Instead, he powered through a double major and a master's degree at the University of Chicago, all in just 4 years. That's right, While most college students are still figuring out how to do their own laundry, Bill Gates's only son was out here racking up degrees at lightning speed. But Rory isn't just book smart. He's also a hardcore feminist. In a rare essay for Time, Melinda Gates gushed about her son's deep belief in gender equality, revealing that he's been having intelligent, sharp-witted debates about social issues since he was a kid. And it's not just talk. Melinda says his everyday actions prove that he's genuinely invested in making the world a better place. When the Gates family sits down for dinner, Rory and his friends reportedly have a lot to say, proving that being raised by a billionaire doesn't mean living in a bubble. And while he keeps a low public profile, his sister Jennifer Gates occasionally gives the world a glimpse into his life. Whether it's a rare sibling photo on graduation day or a funny birthday post about Rory and her dog Earl, who apparently share a birthday, Jennifer never misses a chance to hype up her brilliant, compassionate younger brother. So what's next for the most mysterious Gates kid? No one really knows, but if history is any indicator, he's not going to be the kind of billionaire heir who just sits back and lets the money do the talking. Phoebe Gates. Forget the billionaire heiress stereotype. Phoebe Adele Gates is nothing like you'd expect. Born on September 14, 2002, as the youngest child of Bill and Melinda Gates, she's already making waves far beyond her famous last name. While her siblings have taken the academic route, Phoebe is carving her own path, one that's equal parts fashion, activism, and fearless self-expression. After graduating high school in 2021, she headed straight to Stanford University, where she's been shaping her voice as a bold advocate for social and political issues. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022, Phoebe didn't just share a hashtag, she wrote a full article for Vogue breaking down the global consequences of the decision. And when she's not challenging political norms, she's busy dominating the fashion world, landing an internship at British Vogue in 2022 and soaking up inspiration from the industry's biggest names. But don't be fooled by the designer outfits. Phoebe isn't just about the look, she's about the statement. She's often spotted at high-profile events with her father, like the Time 100 Gala, making it clear that while the Gates empire might be built on tech, the next generation is taking it in a whole new direction. Whether she's tackling hot-button issues, turning heads on the red carpet, or cheekily asking if she should dress up as her mom for Halloween, one thing is clear. Phoebe Gates is here to shake things up, and she's just getting started. Think being Bill Gates' daughter means hiding in the shadows of tech and philanthropy? Not a chance. Phoebe Adele Gates is proving she's got her own voice, and she's using it to challenge everything from social issues to the wild conspiracy theories swirling around her family name. She's always been a bookworm, something she shares with her dad. Back in 2018, Bill proudly posted about their mutual love for reading, calling out their obsession with John Green's novels. But while Bill spent his youth obsessing over software, Phoebe has been diving deep into storytelling, politics, and fashion, all while calling out the internet's misconceptions about her family. And speaking of the internet, she's no stranger to viral moments. In a rare March 2023 interview, Phoebe opened up about how she uses TikTok not just for fun, but to set the record straight on the crazy things people say about the Gates empire. People have a lot of preconceptions about me, she admitted, but TikTok has been a chance for me to tell my own story. And she's not just talking. She's using her platform to highlight causes that matter, like women's health and sustainable fashion. But don't let the activism fool you. Phoebe still knows how to live it up. She turned 21 in September 2023, and while most people get basic life advice on their birthday, Melinda Gates delivered a power move of wisdom. You know yourself already. Don't ever forget who you are. Meanwhile, Bill got sentimental, reminding his daughter that she'll always be his little girl. Then came the ultimate flex, graduating from Stanford in just 3 years in June 2024. And to make the moment even more iconic, her mom was the commencement speaker. Oh, and did we mention her boyfriend is Arthur Donald, Paul McCartney's grandson? Yeah, Phoebe's not just connected, she's practically rock royalty now. And if all that wasn't enough, she's stepping into the documentary world. She teamed up with Bill on his Netflix series, What's Next? The Future with Bill Gates, where she tackled misinformation, especially the bizarre conspiracy theories about her dad. Bill couldn't hide his excitement, saying it was fun to see her energy take over the project. From Stanford prodigy to fearless advocate and future media powerhouse, Phoebe Gates isn't just living in the shadow of her father's empire, she's building her own. Phoebe Gates breaks silence on shocking conspiracy fallout. Being the daughter of one of the world's most powerful men comes with its perks. But for Phoebe Gates, it's also come with a whirlwind of wild conspiracy theories that have hit closer to home than anyone expected. And now, in Netflix's bombshell documentary, What's Next? The Future with Bill Gates, she's finally revealing how these baseless claims have wrecked parts of her personal life. For years, unhinged theories have painted Bill Gates as some kind of pandemic mastermind, claiming he used COVID-19 vaccines to implant microchips and track people, a rumor so absurd it belongs in a sci-fi thriller. But while most dismissed it as internet nonsense, Phoebe wasn't laughing. In the documentary, she confessed that these outlandish accusations have seriously damaged her relationships, even causing some of her closest friends to cut ties with her. And this isn't just about online trolls. Phoebe, a public health student at Stanford and co-founder of the digital fashion platform Faya, has had to navigate the brutal intersection of misinformation and real-world consequences. Sitting down with her father, she didn't hold back. All the time. I've even had friends cut me off because of these vaccine rumors. For a billionaire heiress who could have easily ignored the noise, Phoebe is fighting back, proving that she's not just Bill Gates' daughter. She's stepping up as a powerful voice in the battle against disinformation. Phoebe Gates schools Bill on social media chaos. For a guy who literally helped build the digital age, Bill Gates is still playing catch-up when it comes to how people actually use the internet. And in Netflix's latest documentary, What's Next? The Future, with Bill Gates, his youngest daughter, Phoebe Gates, didn't hold back, giving her billionaire father a crash course on the brutal realities of social media. While Bill still holds on to the quaint idea that digital communication can bring us together for reasonable debate, Phoebe shut that down real quick. She broke it down for him in the simplest way possible. It's not logic and facts that win out. People want to escape. They want to laugh. They want an engaging video. They want to be taken away from boring reality. The most popular video of you online, you trying to do the dab or jumping over a chair. And while Bill might be confused by how misinformation about him exploded online, Phoebe knows exactly what fueled the madness. She pointed out that fear and uncertainty during the pandemic turned people into conspiracy theory addicts, desperately searching for something or someone to blame. Bill called the whole situation madness, especially the idea that he was somehow profiting off vaccines and secretly microchipping the world. But when he asked who was pushing these theories, Phoebe's answer hit hard: fear. Everyone was stuck at home during a pandemic. We were all scared for our lives. No one really knew what to trust or what to believe. That's what our society does. Even Gates himself had to admit that the pandemic showcased social media at its worst, turning complex global crises into oversimplified, fear-driven narratives. He reflected on the deep division it created, saying, "I think of democracy as a debate over a set of issues, as opposed to this complete separation of us and them." Phoebe isn't just explaining the internet to her dad. She's exposing the terrifying power it holds. And if even Bill Gates is struggling to keep up, what does that say about the rest of us? If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments, and if not, let me know with a 0. I appreciate your feedback. Phoebe Gates goes all in on Election Day. Forget neutrality. Phoebe Gates isn't sitting this one out. As the polls closed on Election Day 2024, the 22-year-old daughter of Bill and Melinda Gates made her stance loud and clear, urging Gen Z to hit the polls like their futures depend on it. Because, according to her, they do. In a fiery November 4th op-ed for Nylon, Phoebe took direct aim at the stakes of this election, rallying her estimated 41 million Gen Z peers to show up and vote. And she didn't just talk in vague ideals. She threw her full support behind Kamala Harris, citing reproductive rights and gender equality as her driving forces. Inspired by her mother's global advocacy for women's rights, Phoebe's passion for these issues evolved from a teenage spark into a full-blown fire, one that exploded when Roe v. Wade was overturned. I've witnessed firsthand the impact of extreme abortion bans on women, families, and healthcare workers, she wrote. These bans are killing women. Instantly, we had fewer rights than those who came before, but we won't accept that. Her biggest influence? Melinda Gates. After watching her daughter's outrage over the Supreme Court's decision, Melinda delivered a line that lit a fire in Phoebe. Get mad. Stay mad. But ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Now, Phoebe has her answer, using her platform to push back. And what about Bill Gates? While the Microsoft billionaire tends to stay out of politics, the New York Times reported that he quietly funneled $50 million into a non-profit fundraising for the Democratic candidate earlier this year. The donation wasn't meant to be public, but insiders spilled that Gates is deeply concerned about potential cuts to global health programs and family planning if Trump wins. With her father making silent moves and her mother's words fueling her activism, Phoebe Gates isn't just talking politics, she's making sure her generation gets in the fight. Phoebe Gates takes a stand against online hate. Growing up as the daughter of Bill Gates, Phoebe Gates is no stranger to media attention. But while most of the world obsesses over her billionaire family and glamorous lifestyle, she never expected her love life to become a battleground for toxic debates. When she started dating Robert Ross, a fellow Stanford student, the internet did what it does best, turned a private relationship into public controversy. It all started when Phoebe shared a photo with Robert, a young black man, on social media. What should have been a sweet, normal post instantly became flooded with racist, misogynistic, and classist comments. Some questioned why the daughter of a tech billionaire would date someone outside of elite circles. Others, hiding behind their keyboards, threw blatantly racist remarks her way. The backlash got so out of control that Phoebe was forced to address it head-on, refusing to let strangers dictate her personal life. She didn't back down. Instead, she used her platform to call out the double standards, how women, especially those from powerful families, are constantly scrutinized for their choices, and how interracial relationships are still met with ignorance and hate in places they shouldn't be. Phoebe made it clear she would not be shamed or pressured into conforming to outdated expectations. But the online storm didn't just expose people's prejudices. It also showed how deeply race and privilege still shape conversations about relationships in America. No matter how much progress has been made, the backlash against Phoebe and Robert proved that for many, certain barriers still haven't been broken. Phoebe Gates and Arthur Donald, billionaire meets Beatle royalty. Coming out of a relationship that sparked way too much controversy, Phoebe Gates is now making headlines for a whole new romance, one that brings together billionaire tech royalty and rock and roll legacy. The 21-year-old Stanford graduate has made it official. She's dating Arthur Donald, the 25-year-old grandson of Sir Paul McCartney. Yes, that Paul McCartney. If you thought Gates' money and Beatles' fame couldn't collide, think again. For months, speculation swirled about their relationship. But Phoebe finally put the rumors to rest post-graduation. While documenting her Stanford send-off for Nylon, she casually dropped a confirmation that had the internet buzzing. It wasn't just a subtle nod. She posted a cozy shot of the two, captioning it, "With Arthur, he cleans up nicely." And just like that, social media lost its mind. The clues had been there all along. Back in October 2023, Phoebe's Paris Instagram photo dump included a suspiciously tagged Arthur Donald. Then they showed up together at the Feud, Capote versus the Swans premiere, fueling even more speculation. But when asked, Phoebe dodged the relationship questions like a pro. Now, with matching outfits, affectionate snapshots, and a public confirmation, it's clear Phoebe and Arthur are the latest elite couple to watch. A billionaire heiress and rock royalty? What's next? A Gates-McCartney power wedding? Bill Gates' surprising parenting style, a billionaire raised on love and logic. Bill Gates may be known for shaping the tech world, but before Microsoft, before billion-dollar philanthropy, he was just a rebellious, book-obsessed kid who drove his parents crazy. And according to Gates, his father's unique approach to parenting, one that prioritized calm, control, and logical consequences, played a massive role in who he became. The love and logic experiment that built Bill Gates. Gates credits his father, William Gates Sr., for sticking to a parenting method called love and logic, a philosophy that emphasized setting clear rules and enforcing them calmly, without yelling or emotional manipulation. In an era when strict discipline was the norm, Gates Sr. kept his cool, treating every childhood crisis as just another problem to solve. He was never panicked, Gates recalled. He never had to show emotion or use emotion against me, even when I was being incredibly obstreperous. Translation, young Bill was a nightmare to deal with, but his dad never lost his temper. That didn't mean Gates Sr. was soft, quite the opposite. When young Bill refused to come out of his room because books were life, his dad didn't drag him out. Instead, he played the long game, using logic and structure to make his son want to engage with the world. And when Bill's smart mouth got out of control, there was only one major exception to the no emotions rule. Gates Sr. once threw a glass of water in his son's face at dinner. That moment was so out of character that it shocked young Bill into submission. From problem child to tech visionary, Bill wasn't just difficult. He was straight-up defiant. His parents even sent him to a therapist after countless battles over school, behavior, and authority. At one point, Gates admitted to his therapist, "I'm at war with my parents." But his dad never cracked under pressure. Instead of punishing rebellion, he redirected it, giving Bill space to explore his passions, whether it was locking himself in his room with books or vanishing on week-long hikes. His mother, Mary Gates, had the opposite parenting style. She was intensely emotional, and when she got worked up, young Bill wanted to prove her wrong. That competitive fire pushed him toward success, but it was his father's logical, structured guidance that kept him disciplined and focused. Gates' parenting playbook, passing it down. When it came time to raise his own 3 children, Gates didn't wing it. He followed the same method that worked on him. Alongside Melinda, he turned to the book Parenting with Love and Logic, calling it an invaluable guide and even naming it as one of his 10 favorite books of all time. The approach? Set clear boundaries. Enforce them with logic. Keep emotions out of it. And if it worked on a rebellious, genius-level tech mogul like Bill Gates, it's no wonder he passed the billionaire-approved method down to his own kids. We truly appreciate you for sticking around and watching our video. Leave a 2 in the comments to let me know you are still here with us. Melinda Gates' no-nonsense parenting style. Being born into one of the richest families in the world could have easily turned Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe Gates into out-of-touch, private jet-hopping trust fund kids. But Melinda French Gates made it her mission to ensure that never happened. And according to her, Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, was a key influence in shaping her parenting approach. No silver spoon treatment. The Gates kids had allowances. Forget the image of billionaire kids drowning in designer clothes and luxury cars. Melinda and Bill made their children earn their way. According to Melinda, the Gates kids had allowances and were expected to either buy things themselves or put them on a wish list for birthdays or Christmas. "We absolutely did not just buy them things," Melinda explained, saying that setting financial boundaries was a key principle in raising kids who wouldn't feel entitled to unlimited wealth. And while this philosophy was unconventional in billionaire circles, Melinda was relieved to see she wasn't alone. Parenting, like a billionaire without the spoiled kids. Enter Mackenzie Scott, who, according to Melinda, was raising her own children the same way, just down the street. Even though the two women weren't as close back then, they shared the same belief: just because your kids are born rich doesn't mean they should act like it. The connection between Melinda and Mackenzie goes beyond parenting. Both divorced two of the most powerful tech moguls in history and went on to become philanthropic powerhouses, channeling their fortunes into causes they actually care about. The Gates kids, growing up in a billionaire household. Raising kids in a billionaire household comes with challenges most people can't even imagine. Sure, money opens doors, but how do you teach responsibility, ambition, and humility when your kids grow up with access to literally everything? For Bill and Melinda Gates, it wasn't just about wealth. It was about raising children who could stand on their own. A carefully controlled upbringing. Despite being heirs to one of the biggest fortunes on the planet, the Gates kids didn't grow up in a house of limitless spending. Their parents made sure of that. From strict screen time rules, yes, Bill Gates, the Microsoft guy, banned his kids from having phones until they were teenagers, to chores and allowances. Every aspect of their upbringing was designed to prevent them from turning into entitled trust fund brats. Even their education was carefully curated. Instead of being sent to a lavish, over-the-top private school, the Gates children attended Lakeside School in Seattle, the same elite prep school where Bill first fell in love with coding. The goal? Give them access to world-class education without the golden cage effect. Strict rules, real expectations. No unlimited spending. They had allowances and had to save up for things they wanted. No personal inheritance. Bill has been very clear that his wealth is going to charity, not to his kids. Limited screen time. Even in a tech empire, screen use was heavily regulated. Education comes first. Every child was expected to pursue their own intellectual path. And the result? Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe didn't just coast on their last name. They've each forged unique, ambitious careers. Jennifer in medicine, Rory in academia and social issues, and Phoebe in fashion and activism. While they may have been born into extreme privilege, one thing is clear: they were never raised to rely on it. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most powerful families.